Today we're going to be talking about a problem many of you have, and that is nighttime anxiety. Anxiety at night, the insomnia, the physical symptoms, everything that comes with this beast known as night anxiety. I dealt with this for 5 freaking long years. Towards the end, it got so much better though once I started to implement some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you at the end of this video. I did, after all, recover fully from health anxiety, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder. So watch this whole freaking thing to get some awesome tips to help you with your nighttime anxiety. If you implement those tips, I'm telling you, within a week, things are at least going to be 50% better. You got to work hard though, but I'm telling you, the tips I'm going to give work. So you want to watch this whole entire video. But let's break the ice, guys. Hit the like button if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt, and if you've dealt with this particular issue with anxiety, nighttime anxiety. Let us know also in the comment section your experience, and let us know how many years have you been dealing with night anxiety. Be a part of the family. Subscribe if you haven't. I make tons of videos like this to help you out. And be sure to check out the description and the first pinned comment. There's tons of help down there to help you with your anxiety recovery journey. So mine started with a massive 6-hour-long panic attack that happened at night. I was drinking heavily with some friends for a couple days in a row, came back home, was dehydrated, my heart palpitated, and then it was off to the races. Then I had Pandora's box open up to me and give me literally every symptom of anxiety in those 6 hours. Thought I was having a heart attack, developed cardiophobia, heart anxiety, and which later became a 5-year-long battle with health anxiety. Developed panic disorder that night, started having panic attacks every single day. But at night, things got so much worse. Now, in the beginning, it was completely crippling, right? It was completely crippling. It affected my life. It was hard to hold down a job, a lot of call-ins, a lot of showing up to work late. I would go through this vicious cycle of 2 days where I barely slept at all if I was lucky with the insomnia. And then I had a third day that I would crash where I'd sleep like 15, 16 hours. Waking up not knowing what time it is, waking up not giving a crap. I got to get my sleep when I got to get it or when I can get it. So I went through that cycle for a few months, and I know a lot of you in the beginning, like, it's really bad because our awareness is not there. We're scared as hell. We don't have any acceptance really in the beginning. We're still figuring this thing out. How can anxiety make me feel this way? So insomnia was just a given, and a lot of you are dealing with that. I had this jolting falling sensation, which we've all had that on and off our entire life, where we fall asleep and then we kind of jolt awake and it feels like you're falling, or you have like a little mini dream with it or whatever. But this was happening every single time I would doze off. I'd be so exhausted, so tired, I'd start to doze off and I'd jolt awake. And I'm talking about frustration to the freaking max. Almost wish that I wouldn't even get sleepy so I wouldn't have to keep having this jolting sensation or this jolting symptom. So a lot of you are dealing with that. I talk to a lot of people on the phone with my coaching, and this is something that they struggle with. They start to doze off and then they jolt awake, right? And I see it as like you're in fight or flight mode. You don't have to be in full-on panic mode, but it's almost like your body and your mind doesn't want to fall asleep in case something dangerous happens. So you jolt awake because you got to be on edge. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready to spring into action. So I believe that that's why we have the jolting sensation. There might be some deeper science into that. But also all my other symptoms would be on high alert. I would have high chest pain, high levels of chest pain anywhere. My numbness, my tingling, my tension, my stomach would act up at this time, and my just overall level of sensitivity would skyrocket. The morning and the evenings were the worst time by far with my anxiety. Mornings were terrible. Once I finally got up and got moving and everything like that, I could, get some of the anxiety off of me, off of my back. I found that distraction, especially in the beginning, it was pretty valuable for me. I could get out of my head a little bit more. I could, lessen the symptoms by making it to work or doing something outside or talking to somebody, because during the day people are awake. During the day there's more things to do. I didn't work a graveyard shift or anything like that. So during the day was my opportunity to try to escape a little bit, and sometimes it worked. Don't get me wrong, like I still had really bad anxiety throughout the day. I'm just saying, like at night and in the morning time it was a nightmare, right? But then it would start to get dark outside, and then I had horrible anticipatory anxiety because, like a lot of you start to associate nighttime with horror, right? and you're like, oh, please, I hope tonight's good. I hope tonight's gonna be fine. I hope I get more sleep, man. I'm about to lose my job, and I feel exhausted. Hopefully my symptoms don't get crazy. Hopefully my mind doesn't start racing whenever I lay my head down on the pillow. And guess what? Since you have that anticipatory anxiety, that happens. The sun starts to go down, your muscles start to tighten up, right? You have actually told your subconscious that nighttime is bad and that I actually need more symptoms to warn me of nighttime. So you'll start getting warning signs whenever the sun's still up, but it's starting to set a little bit, and it starts to intensify, right? So I would have all these symptoms. They'd be a lot worse. So many ER visits at night because that's when my symptoms were the highest, and I thought I was having a freaking heart attack. Just a lot of horrible stuff. I would try to call my mother. She was a nurse, but she's probably going to be asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a girlfriend at the time. She was asleep, and I wasn't living with her or anything like that. It's probably a good thing because I would have probably bugged the heck out of her. And eventually it got embarrassing to me. I didn't want to have to call her and be like, or cry or tell her like, I think I'm dying and all this stuff. And, I didn't really want to share this with a lot of other people at the time. I was kind of embarrassed. I thought I was going crazy, so I wasn't very open about it. So at nighttime, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to and to comfort me or to reassure me that things are going to be okay. And a lot of you can relate, right? The people at work, they're asleep. Your family, your friends, the people you love, they're asleep. You almost don't want to bug them about this at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, okay? So I think that's another reason why our anxiety turns up at night. Our sensitivity goes up. And the reason I believe that our sensitivity goes up is because we are trying to lay down. We're trying to close our eyes. So guess what? Our symptoms just from being still are going to be louder. Our thoughts are going to be louder, right? And then guess what happens? We pour fear on that anxiety fire, it's gasoline that we're pouring on that anxiety fire, and we start to do something else. We focus. So if you feel something in your chest, you're like, what's that? What's that? Oh my God, it hurts. Oh my God, now it hurts worse. And you can do this all throughout the day. Trust me, I did it all throughout the day. But at night, my focus was so much more, which then made my sensitivity levels skyrocket. And then it made it was just this vicious cycle. And then it would just solidify this association that I had with nighttime. Nighttime was bad. Nighttime was dangerous. Nighttime is when I didn't get sleep. Nighttime is whenever I was going to have a heart attack. Nighttime I associate with ER, going to the ER, going to the hospital. So to quickly recap why this is probably happening before we move on to the tips, you likely developed an association with nighttime and anxiety or symptoms or panic or chest pain, whatever you're going through, right? You solidified that with fear. You solidified that with anticipatory anxiety, dreading nighttime, hoping that it doesn't happen tonight. Please let me get sleep, right? Which in return, sadly, we don't understand this in the beginning, it solidifies it even more, right? And it makes it harder to break down that association. You are trying to be still so you can fall asleep. It's hard to sit there through your symptoms. A lot of you don't know how to respond, but we're going to get into that in a second. You're still, so guess what happens with that? You can focus more on your symptoms. You feel these symptoms 10 times more than you did earlier whenever you were at work. So what does this do? That in return makes your sensitivity to them go up. And it's a vicious cycle. Now you're more afraid. Now the symptom hurts even more, and you go around and around and around. There's less distractions. There's a less likelihood that you're at work. You're less likely to be asleep at night. I had this fear of dying in my sleep, so that didn't help the situation. There's just a lot more room to focus on your symptoms. Okay, so now for the tips. The first thing that you have to do is establish a routine. Is a routine everything when it comes to anxiety recovery? Heck no. But in the beginning, you need it. It's like step one. You need some structure to your day. Stop waking up trying to wing everything. How has that been working for you, right? A good evening is going to be set up by a good morning, all right? Now, I do have a full detailed routine in my Elite Anxiety Bootcamp course, which is going to be in the description and the first pinned comment. But I've made a couple of videos on a daily routine. You need to wake up very quickly. You need to hydrate. You need to get that nervous energy out of you with a workout, okay? It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you should at least sweat for 10 minutes before you start your day. You then need to try to experiment with cold showers, cold water therapy to help desensitize you. You need to then try to get a little bit of mindfulness in, whether that be meditations or affirmations. You need to do a little bit of journaling, okay? Do that before you head off to work or head off to school or head off to run your errands. It'll make a big, big difference, all right? Now, throughout the day, you're going to be more distracted. I get it. You can still practice self-love, challenging your symptoms, all the things that I've talked about in my previous videos, and again, that are mentioned in that course. You need to practice this throughout the day, all right? And then in the evening, you need a few things that you need to be doing. You don't need to be eating dinner super late. Whenever you're trying to go to sleep, you don't need all the bubblies, the rumblings, and all that stuff. Your body needs to be focused on sleep, not digesting your freaking food. If you're gonna do a second workout, make sure that it's a little bit earlier, mid-afternoon. Be careful with the late afternoon stuff. You don't wanna rev your body up too much, but for some of you, 2 workouts a day could be helpful to get some more nervous energy out of you. If you like cold showers, whenever I say light cold showers, I know they don't feel great. They're supposed to shock your system and desensitize you. If you're having nighttime anxiety, I tell everybody, you need to take one at night. It will ironically help you with your sleep, okay? It'll help quiet the subconscious, desensitize the body, because remember, at night, we feel everything so much more. Do a little bit more mindfulness in the evening, all right? Write some bedtime affirmations, okay? Write those, read those twice a day, okay? So the first thing is you need to establish a routine. At the end of this video, I'll put a daily routine video that I did a long time ago that you can check out. That'll help you get started if you have nowhere to begin. So the next thing that you need to do is actually work on your anticipatory anxiety, okay? There's 2 different approaches. The first one's a little less aggressive, but it's a way to get your foot in the door. Whenever the thought of nighttime comes up throughout the day, like, oh man, I hope I get some sleep. I hope everything's better tonight. Man, dang, you know, I'm tired. Hopefully things go better this time around. You need to actually say that I'm not asleep right now, or I'm not trying to sleep right now. It isn't dark outside. It isn't close to nighttime. It's in the middle of the day, and I'm going to enjoy this moment. I know that this moment's good. I know that I'm better whenever the sun is up, right? I'm better whenever I'm at work. So instead of me just constantly looking towards the future of this evening and working myself up and basically getting it to the point to where I'm a loaded gun whenever the sun starts to go down, I'll handle that then whenever I get into that situation. So that's the way to get your foot in the door with some of this anticipatory anxiety. Save the fear for the moment. I'm not in that moment right now. I'll handle it then, all right? The next thing is you have to actually view nighttime as an opportunity. Once you've established that, you've gotten decent with saving the fear for the moment, now you have to start realizing nighttime is an opportunity, right? And if you think about it, you need symptoms to show up at night so you can practice responding to them in the appropriate and the best way. So then you can actually show your subconscious that you are not afraid and that it shouldn't be afraid and that it shouldn't keep sending you symptoms. You need symptoms to pop up in these situations so you can face them to overcome that fear, right? You're not going to wipe away all these symptoms with just the routine alone. You need exposure, right? You need practice. If you just sit there and worry all day about nighttime and you get there and then you're just, please go away, you never get anywhere. Your anxiety is never going to be like, okay, I feel bad for you. I'm going to stop. I'll let go. Get some good sleep. No, you have to show your subconscious, you're the leader in the conscious-subconscious relationship, that nothing is wrong here. This is a safe place. This is a safe environment. Give context. Don't just say I accept anxiety or that I'm healthy. Why are we healthy? You know, why should we accept anxiety? Why is this environment safe? That's the response you need to be giving to your subconscious when you lay your head down at night, right? So you need to be making sure that you start viewing these moments, which is, we're talking about nighttime in the situation. So for some of you, you can apply this to the car, to the job, right? To social settings, to going to the doctor whenever they put that blood pressure cuff on, right? You have to view these as opportunities. This is your chance to prove to your subconscious that the symptoms aren't needed in the first place. And I get that opportunity starting tonight. So you have to change your perception of nighttime. If you look at it as a bad thing all the time, guess what? It's going to always be a bad thing. You may get lucky a day or so here and there, but for the most part, that association isn't going to break down itself. You have to break it down. So you need the routine. You got to work on your anticipatory anxiety. Either save the fear for the moment. That'll lessen your anxiety. That'll get your foot in the door, right? I think that that's something that you could start right now. And then start trying to change your perception. Nighttime is my opportunity. That's my chance. I actually need symptoms to pop up during that time so I can prove to my subconscious that it doesn't need to keep making my chest hurt, my head hurt, my mind racing at night. But if you made it this far in the video, go down below and in all caps, I want you to comment, tonight is my chance. Tonight is my chance. Guys, remember, all right, there's many resources down below in the description and in the first pinned comment. There's my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. I talked about that routine being there. There's so many other things packed in there. 100 videos to show you step by step on how I overcame anxiety disorders, okay? Panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and yes, health anxiety, which was a beast, all right? But I was able to overcome it. You can too. Trust me, if I did it, you can too. Online therapy is down below, so try that. Please give this video a like if you got some value. Again, leave a comment if you just want to share your story or ask any questions. We're a community here, so we'll help each other out. But guys, please subscribe if you haven't, and hit the notification bell if you have subscribed and you haven't done that. That way you can get notified when I put these videos out. I love you guys, and until next time, keep fighting.